Here with Mustang skipper Brandon Nania on this beautiful Thursday here at Hooker Field. Skip, we'll start right away. Coming in off a great win in Tri-City against Tuesday. Got the Chili Peppers again here tonight, 14-3 on Tuesday. Another great come-from-behind victory for the Mustangs. But we'll talk about today. Obviously, a great win on Tuesday. How much of that game are you going to bring in here tonight, or are you thinking more this is a clean slate tonight?
Clean slate baseball. Can't really put into what we did out there. Baseball is a funny game. I always say that, the sun comes up tomorrow and we get to play again, and that's exactly what they get to do. The sun comes up and they're going to come to our house and, play us, and we have something special, right in front of us is to get into playoffs, and we can't let them come in and play spoiler, but they're gonna be a good team. James is going to have his guys ready to come in here and play some really good baseball. So I'm excited for a Thirsty Thursday here in Martinsville.
Well, it's always a good one when the Mustangs and Chili Peppers face off. 2-2 on the season series. Just tell me, how much fun is it for you as a coach to be facing off against James and his team, and how competitive have these games been?
I'd say pretty much the whole time we have played this season, they've been really competitive baseball games. But Tri-City always has some really good baseball players, and I love managing against James. He's very good at what he does, so I'm super excited to see him come in here and face off one more time with him. But like I said, he's gonna have them ready, and they're gonna try to come play spoiler against us, and we're just gonna play our baseball.
And then want to touch on it real quick. You talked about their players. None probably all too more familiar here at Martinsville than Tanner Thomas, third baseman that played with the Mustangs at the beginning of the year. Team leader in batting average and on base percentage there, Tanner Thomas. How proud are you that he's doing so well?
Yeah, no, I mean, everybody thinks, he played for the Mustangs, there's a grudge against him. Like, no, we're here to watch these kids grow. We're to watch these guys become men on the baseball field and, develop them for the next level of their game, if it's at that Division I level or if that's in professional baseball, whatever it is. Our job is to get them at bats, get them out there, and I want to see him succeed. If he hit a home run against us, man, I tip my cap to him and say, hey, you're a good baseball player, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do. And there's no hard feelings that he's over there. I know he was going through the transfer portal, he was doing all that, but I think he's gonna be a very good baseball player. At Gardner Webb, and Coach Chester got a really good baseball player in Tanner. So I'm excited to kind of keep watching him play the game of baseball.
All right, before we dive deep into today, I kind of want to take a look back. Obviously, before this past Friday, had never lost a game in July. 11 games in a row for the Mustangs. Obviously, tough 3-game stretch. How did you keep that team focused after that 3-game loss?
Man, you go from being on a high of winning all the time, and then you hit the low of losing. And those 3 games were hard fought. They are all one-run baseball games. All came down to the wire, and our guys you could see the frustration on them that we were so close to keeping the streak going, and then trying to build a new one when we went to High Point. But I got them all together in High Point, and I said, hey, when we go out to Tri-City, this is a must-win game. Either you put up or you shut up, and you got to go out there and win this baseball game to keep the playoff hopes alive. And there's a lot of older guys in that clubhouse, a lot of guys that have been in Martinsville and have played for the Mustangs and have went through the ups and downs of this organization, and it's exciting to see them band the boys together, and not just coming from me. It's coming from inside that clubhouse. It's coming internal, and I think that's why we rally really good after some losses. So it was exciting to see us go out to Tri-City and put 14 runs on the board and get the morale back and say, hey, we're still in this thick.
And then speaking of some of the older guys, and then that High Point game, Lucas Carmichael, his first home run of the year, going to get a lot of votes for Coastal Plain League MVP. Just tell me, how has he been this year, both on the field and in the clubhouse?
No, funny thing, Lucas actually wasn't supposed to come back to Martinsville to start the season. He was going to go play in the NECBL up in New York, and he kind of had a change of heart, and he called me, I'd say about 3 weeks before the season started, and he's like, I just don't feel comfortable going up there. I think my heart's in Martinsville. There's something special going on, and me being the manager, I think that was a big reason he came back. But he's been exciting. He is a very good baseball player. He is a very good hitter. He is very mature in the box, understands what he's trying to do every single time he gets into that batter's box. But I hope he has the chance to win CPL Player of the Year, because he's a guy that doesn't want to come out of the lineup. He has played in every single game. He's played in the CPL Select game. He's played in the All-Star game. He has done everything to be that Player of the Year candidate. He's up there. I think he's second in batting average. I think he's second in RBIs. The only thing he doesn't have is the power numbers. But, I know that's a big thing they look at, but he is an all-around baseball player and has played in every single game. So my vote always will go to Lucas for that.
Well, currently, as we sit here, you and I are talking. He's first in active average, first in active on base percentage, has a top 5 OPS. Obviously one of the best players. They said second in RBIs, league leader in hits, doing it all. But I want to take the attention away from Carmichael. Talk about his all-star teammate and outfield companion Owen Prince, the leadoff center fielder from VMI, CPL league leader in runs scored, walks, and stolen bases. Just tell me, how is he in the clubhouse?
The Prince of Pain, as they started to call him. The first time I met him, he has this bubbly personality, and I felt like I've known him, forever. And that was the first time I met him on, I think it was like the second or third day that the Mustangs were in town, and I was like, this guy is going to be something special. Guys love him in the clubhouse. He's always dancing. He's always making guys smile. He's making us that much better, in that clubhouse. And then when he goes on that baseball field, he's a menace. As a pitcher, I don't know if I would like to throw to him. He's a guy that is going to sit there and gut at bats out. He is going to give you everything he's got for 9 innings. He's going to put 10 pitch at bats up, and I've never seen somebody so comfortable in 2 strike counts. He gets 0-2, and then you blink of an eye, it's 3-2, and then he's 8 to 10 pitches in, and that pitcher's frustrated, walks him. He's going to steal second, he's going to steal third, and now we're going to score a run in that first inning, and kind of keep us moving. But he's a very good baseball player, and if I could take 100 of Owen Prince's, I would take 100 Owen Prince's on that baseball field.
And the one thing I want to talk about, not just Owen Prince, but also Hayden Freeze out in left field. They are 1-2 in the CPL in walks. Prince with 55, Freeze with 35. Mustangs, obviously the team leaders in walks, over 300. Nobody else in the CPL has more than 265. So is that a point of emphasis for you, being disciplined at the plate?
Especially in this league, you're going to get some young guys on that mound. They might throw super hard, and they're very sporadic. And being able to get runners on base and get runners in scoring position is something that is going to help you win baseball games. It's cliche to say the team that scores the most runs normally wins, and the guys that get on base the most are the ones that are going to score. But those two, pack the punch at 1-2, or Princey in the 1 hole and Freezy in the 9. They're going to be able to put 10, 15 pitch at bats up to you and really grind you out. But, they're 2 really good baseball players. It's hard pulling those guys off the field. I know Freeze he was battling a little injury there, and he says, I'm going to have to die on this field, or you're going to have to pull me off this field. And that's what we expect out of guys, and that's what we wanted to bring in here. Guys that have some guts, that guys have heart, that love this game of baseball, that want to stay out there and play every single game and play every single inning. And you can see that this year is like, this team is special, and they'll do anything they can to win a baseball game.
And then you made a brief mention about putting guys in scoring position. As we said, Owen Prince, CPL league leader in stolen bases. You got Carlos and Mesquita back on the team now. Through his first 10 games, had stolen 15 bags. Obviously a very lively clubhouse personality. How great is it to have him back?
Skeeter is awesome. I got to coach him 1 year at PH, and then he came on board with us with the Mustangs in 2022 it was. And he's an electric baseball player. He's got a very high motor when he's out there. He plays fearless baseball. You put him on first base, he's going to be out within 2 pitches. You get him on second, you get into a little rhythm. He's going to steal third, and I think we saw that this year where we pinch ran him at first. He stole second, stole third, and, obviously was the winning run in that baseball game. But he brings the morale of the guys up, and I know an injury set him back a little bit, but I'm glad that he's healthy and he's going to be with us in this back end of this push and into the playoffs. And whenever guys see him get on base, they're going to have to fear him a little bit and maybe give our hitters a heater, and we thump it in the gap and we're ready to rock and roll. But he's a guy that's going to be feared on the base paths and feared on that baseball field here in these next 10 games.
What do you see his role being with the team? Is it more just as a pinch runner? Obviously he's got that hand injury, so do you see him playing any defense in this coming 3 days?
It just depends where we're at in the game. He's definitely going to be an off the bench piece, and that was something that we had a conversation about. Was like, hey, you might not be in the starting 9, but you're going to see yourself somewhere late in the game. Defense or replace, pinch run, something along those lines. But to have a threat like that sitting on the bench, ready to go out there and play is special. I don't see too many teams having a guy like Carlos, on the bench ready to rock and roll in any type of situation that comes to us.
All right, now I want to shift our attention to today's game facing the Tri-City Chili Peppers. You got Trey Ludy on the mound, top 10 in the league in strikeouts. Just how has he been in your eyes this year?
we didn't really know what we were gonna get out of Trey. Doing a little bit of research on him. He's player of the year, pitcher of the year. A two-way type of guy, and looking at his stats at Radford, there wasn't a lot of innings under his belt. So we said, hey, we're gonna give the young buck an opportunity to start in Holly Springs on their opening day, and he went out there and he was punching guys out. Had the cool, calm, collected Trey that we're still seeing on that mound, but he has really came into his own, and I think he has seen. I'm a pretty dang good pitcher, and I can go out there and compete with the best. And he's top 5, I think, in strikeouts, something along those lines. But having him on the mound, and I would say probably another must-win game. That's like rolling Randy Johnson out there in a World Series game, Game 7. So I'm excited for him to go out there and toe the rubber in front of a sold-out crowd.
Yeah, and then you have a fantastic starting pitching room. You got himself, Jackson Lloyd, Austin Maxey, Cooper Morgan's just now coming back, and Rigo Ramos. We'll start right there. Rigo Ramos, getting him back on the team. Just tell me, how good is it to see him back in Martinsville?
No, it was nice. I wasn't sure if we were gonna get Rigo back or not. I know he was going into his grad year, and he was like, I don't know if I want to play. I don't know what I want to do. And I said, you know what? Why don't you just come down here and see how it plays out? And he has been one of the bigger pieces that we signed to the roster was Rigo. Him just being an old head in the locker room, being a guy that never shows too much emotion. Like, he is always smiling. It doesn't matter, what's going on in the game. Doesn't matter what's going on in the clubhouse. Like, he's going to be able to be the guy that slows everybody down. And, watching him go out there and make the starts that he has been exactly what we wanted out of him. And he's going to be a big factor in this back end in these next 4, if it's a do or die, he's going to toe the rubber against Boone, and I know that he's going to go out there and lay it all out on the line for this place. But it's nice having him back in Martinsville. I love seeing him every single day, and he works his butt off, and I hope that transfer portal treats him well, and he can go somewhere special.
Yeah, and Rigo Ramos, obviously a fantastic pitcher. Yeah. Do you feel like you have a true ace of the pitching staff? Because you have guys who are throwing 5, 6, 7 innings, striking out 5, 6, 7, 8 guys. So do you feel like there's truly one leader of that starting pitching staff?
No, but they're all aces in my eyes. To be able to have a starting rotation like we have and have the faith in them to go out there and give us 5+ and punch out 5+ a night. I don't see too many teams in the CPL having guys like that can roll in and day out and say, hey, we're at least going to get 5+ to be able to help this bullpen. So I wouldn't say that there's an ace of a staff. I say it all the time. He's an ace of a staff. He's an ace of a staff. But that's just me saying, like, these guys are good, and they could go out there and be an ace on anybody else's roster, anybody else's team in this league. But we got 5 of them that can roll out. And you were talking about Cooper Morgan coming back. He had the chance to pitch against the Savannah Bananas, and I'm never gonna tell him no on an opportunity like that. But getting an arm like that, the competitor back, he just brings a fire onto the mound, and he is going to be a guy that is going to give us everything he got. Like, texting him, telling him, hey, you got the ball. He always got something to say to me. And he's like, let's go freaking do this thing. And I said, hey, man, I'm fired up to watch you pitch, and I know we're going to get everything he's got.
Now, does he text in an Australian accent too, or does he just talk that way?
I try to read it in his Australian accent because I think it's funny. I mean, we've had a lot of different characters, but no, he's one of the funnier ones just because he is an Aussie through and through. Doesn't try to change it at all. But no, I try to read his text messages in that.
But no, you had a very interesting clubhouse. You got him from Australia. Yep. We had Tatsunori Nagishi from Japan. Carmichael, born in Germany. Yep. So just tell me, what's the vibe in the clubhouse with all these different kinds of people, all these different walks of life?
Sometimes you never know what you're going to get in a clubhouse, especially in summer ball, because you're piecing all these kids from different places, and you don't know if they're going to gel, they're going to jive with each other, and they do. They all bring a different personality in there, and they just mesh it together. And I think the biggest piece to that would be probably Bo Rusher. Been with Bo for forever now. Like, that's like a little brother to me, a son to me, a guy that that has been through the thick of it. But he's the clubhouse guy. Like, we might say, we have all these guys from different places, but he's the DJ. He's the guy that's gonna hype the boys up, and he's ready to go out there and play baseball. So it's probably Bo, man. I love that man to death, and he is a funny character too in there. But like you said, there is a lot, from different countries, different places, but they're fun in the clubhouse. I know you get to come out and hang out down there and be on the bus with us, be in different clubhouses on the road. So it's a fun time. I wish everybody could see it and see how funny they are and how great they are. And I just love them to death. And when this thing's over, it's going to be very tough for myself to say goodbye to them.
All right, well, I think that's a perfect place to end it. Thank you, Skip, for talking with us. And we will now take it live. First pitch coming up for you next on Flow Sports.
I got one more thing. Vote trap.
Well, there you have it. Stang gang.
Stang gang.